Hi friends, it's Carla. I'm glad you're here. This is my channel Stay Stitching, where I talk a lot about sewing and fabric. And I'm here today to show you the skirt that I started a couple of weeks ago and couldn't decide on the color of button. Maybe I'll try an iCard and see if I can figure out how to do that to link that video. But anyway, I did decide, and it was all the way up to the last minute. I mean, I had pretty much decided what color I was going to use, and then I changed my mind at the very last minute. So the pattern that I'm talking about is this skirt pattern for Simplicity 1166. First, I'm going to show you the skirt itself and show you the color of buttons I chose. Ta-da! I went with the vintage red ones, and I think I know there are 8 buttons, and I think there are 5 different ones, and they are all just super pretty. I love them. You'll see in the pictures that I'm wearing this t-shirt with them, and then my red Remix vintage shoes, and then I just had on these earrings. I don't have any red stuff in my wardrobe. I found a red t-shirt in there because the school that I teach at, our colors were the Pirates, and our colors are red and black. And so I do have some red t-shirts from school, and I thought about turning one inside out and wearing it for the photos, because I'm not sure you could really tell a difference, but I really didn't want to wear a red t-shirt. I don't really like wearing them at work, but you know, we wear them because we're on staff and we need to show our spirit. So I do wear red occasionally, against my better judgment. Another school that I worked at were the Bearcats, and their colors were black and orange. Really? Black and orange? It's hard to make that look good, you guys. At least red and black, a lot of people love red, and most people like black. So, the skirt. This skirt was a love-hate thing. I mean, I absolutely loved putting on the buttons and making the buttonholes, and I loved hemming it. I do a 3-step hem, and so for me to sew this whole hem 3 times by machine, not by hand, is fun. I mean, I like doing it. And so what I do first is I make a line of stitching where I want the fold to be for my hem, and then I take it over to the ironing board and I iron that up, and then I put on my hem tape, and then I sew up my hem tape. No, probably I put the hem tape on before I iron. Yes, that is exactly what I do. I put the hem tape on before I iron. So first, sew with the fabric completely flat, the depth that you want the hem, and then put on your hem tape, and then take it over to the ironing board and iron it up. And with the hem tape and ironing it, I did not have any trouble at all making this full circle skirt curve in. There were really no tragedies or anything like that. So those were things that I loved. However, something went wrong with this skirt. I don't know if it's in the drafting. It's probably not. It's probably me. Although I do think that I had a Simplicity pattern I was sewing for my husband one time, and in the instructions, it never said to do the shoulder seams. And so, you know, I haven't sewn a lot of men's shirts, but I'm like, how can we put the collar on if the shoulder seams aren't together? This seems odd to me. And so I couldn't figure out how to do it, and so I went ahead and put the shoulder seams on, and then I put the collar on. But I don't know that it was the drafting of the pattern. When I was cutting this out, I didn't have quite enough fabric for the back piece. And so what did I do? I just scooted the pattern piece over a little bit and hung some of it off the edge of the fold, which I would think would have a greater chance of making the pattern too small than too big. So then I'm trying to put it together and it just went all kinds of wrong. The first thing that happened that confused me to death, and you guys are probably gonna laugh, but maybe someone can really explain it to me, because this was hard, you guys, hard for my brain to try to figure out. And that was the pleats on the front. The back piece just has darts. There's nothing complicated about darts. But this piece is the back and the side front. So there's a pleat here, and I marked it, but after that, I mean, where do you take it? Do you take it, because there's only one, it's not marked twice. So I didn't know where to take it. And so I just probably did it about like that. And the other piece, there's two. This is where I got mostly confused, right here. All right, so 16, 18, 20, 22, and 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, and 24. So I marked that, and I marked that, and to me, that goes together there. And then this one, I put over to this 24, okay? So that's how I did the pleats. I made two of them there. Well, that's what I decided it looked like in the instructions after really examining it closely for a long period of time and scratching my head a long time. So I did two pleats in the front and the darts in the back, and the skirt was huge. It was massive. I mean, it was so much too big for the waistband that what I did is I added another pleat in the front. So there's 1, 2, 3 pleats on each side of the front now. 1, 2, 3 pleats on each side of the front. And this was on the fold. This is the back seam. I took that in an inch, which is 2 inches off of the skirt. And then, even with all of that, the waistband was so much too small for the skirt that I had to add a piece in twice. Yes, twice I had to do this. I added, no, 3 times. I take that back, because I added fabric twice back here because the first time I didn't add enough. And then, oh, I thought I added, I guess I didn't add fabric to the front, but I finally got it and it fits perfectly. But seriously, how in the world could the skirt be so much too big? And I shouldn't have cut a 24. That's way too big. I do that all the time. I have a distorted body image and I like instantly cut out the largest size that's available because that seems to be what I think. And it was monstrously huge. But the waistband is, you know, 3 inches too small, and I cut from the waistband, let me see, I cut a size 24 for the waistband. So I don't know what went wrong, you guys. I have no idea what went wrong. the only thing I can think of is that when I moved that pattern piece over, because I didn't have enough fabric, somehow that messed everything up, but that doesn't make sense. I feel like if you're moving pattern, if it's hanging off, if pattern tissue is hanging off of your fabric, you're making your garment smaller, not bigger. And how can, when you cut out the right size of waistband, how can it be so much too small? 3 full inches too small. I don't know what happened. So I really like the skirt. I think it's adorable. I'm glad I had the nerve to go with the red. I'm thinking of making a t-shirt, maybe a Breton stripe with a red neckband or something to wear with this, just for a little dash of red. Or maybe I will buy some cute red earrings or a red necklace. I do have a beautiful cushion coral necklace with turquoise in between each piece of coral, but that's a very Southwest looking necklace. I mean, it screams Colorado, and this is a very dinery skirt. So I maybe need some button earrings or something. These were the most conservative earrings in my collection, and so that's what I put on for the skirt. But I guess that's all I have to share with you today. If you have any ideas what went wrong, I would love your help on that. I don't know why it happened, and why I got so confused with the pleats and everything, but I definitely did something wrong. I will say that the pocket construction on this pattern was super cool. I've never done one like this. So you cut the pocket piece out like this, and then you sew it in like this, and there's your pocket. And I've gotten really good at side seam pockets, you guys. I'm very proud of myself, because I remember about 3 years ago when I first started sewing, and I put in pockets in a skirt, and they were, I don't know what went wrong. They were sticking out all over the place. My husband and I were laughing so hard. I went straight over and unpicked those pockets and sewed that seam right up, and you know, was worried that I would, you know, never get a decent pocket put in again. But lately, all of my pockets have come out really perfectly. I'm just really pleased with them. So let me show you what they look like on the inside. So that was cool. I mean, I learned that, and I don't know what went wrong with the sizing of the pattern. Here's what they look like on the inside. They're not very big. I don't know if I would sit down with my phone in that pocket. I'm not one of these people that thinks pockets are the greatest thing in the entire world. I'm okay with them if they don't add bulk to what I'm wearing. It actually really bothers me to see people with phones in their pockets, distorting their figure and the style lines of their garments, their silhouette. I think it's just something from my age that I don't like to see, and just like I don't like to see men with a big fat wallet sticking out of their butt. I just don't like that. And so pockets, I remember when I was young, even as far back as college, anytime I bought anything, I would take it straight from the shop to the dry cleaners to have them remove those pockets and sew up that side seam. And that was back when I had a perfect figure. So I just didn't want anything adding any bulk, because I've never been skinny. I've always been curvy. I just, you know, was just the right exact weight I should have been, but still not looking for any extra padding. But so I'm proud of myself on the pockets. I loved doing the buttonholes. I loved sewing on the buttons. My machine does all of that just so easily. I loved doing the hem, the waistband, and getting that skirt to fit in it. I don't know what happened, but I'm glad that you were here today, and I look forward to any comments or clues or advice you might have on that. Maybe it's a mystery to you too. And I will be back to see you again soon. You have a fantastic day.